Honda's Shockwave, the cruiser comeback. No one saw coming. Friends, today we're talking about the shockwave that just rattled the motorcycle world. Honda has done the one thing Harley never dared, and Indian quietly drifted away from. Honda made cruisers cheap again. No flashy press tours, no influencer blitz, no nostalgia campaign, just a straight calculated strike. And the price? $9,999. So the real questions are, how did Honda pull this off? Why now? And most importantly, what does this mean for riders who've stayed loyal to the old names? That's our story today. A silent strike. No one saw it coming. Honda didn't tease, didn't hype, didn't dangle heritage in front of us. They just rolled the Rebel 1100 onto the showroom floor and let the numbers do the talking. No gimmicks, no stripped-down trims, no fine print. This wasn't just about being affordable. It was about sending a message. Honda wasn't here to resurrect ghosts of past cruisers. It was here to reset the rules. While Harley wrestled with its identity and Indian chased higher margins, Honda simply waited, observed. And when the moment was right, it struck, with silence, not spectacle. Rebel 1100, out of the museum, back into traffic. The Rebel 1100 wasn't designed to please historians, it was designed to win buyers. It didn't try to retell the American cruiser myth. Instead, it dragged the cruiser out of the museum and dropped it back into rush-hour traffic. Affordable, accessible, surprisingly quick. While other brands made noise to hide uncertainty, Honda made none. And that silence was not absence, it was planning. Death and rebirth of the cruiser. There was a time Honda ruled the cruiser scene, the Shadow, the VTX series. These weren't Harley knockoffs, they were world-class machines with Honda reliability and style that spoke to a new generation. Then slowly, quietly, Honda backed out. The ads disappeared. The showroom space shrank. The cruiser line faded, not crashed. In that gap, Harley doubled down on chrome-soaked nostalgia. Indian leaned into muscle and marketing. Royal Enfield, once dismissed, started building stripped-down, affordable classics. The cruiser didn't die. It evolved. It became leaner, global, more accessible. Younger riders didn't want to buy a lifestyle. They wanted something cool, simple, affordable. Most manufacturers missed that shift. Honda's retreat looked like defeat. In hindsight, it was patience. And now with the Rebel 500 and Rebel 1100, Honda has redefined the cruiser. Clean lines, lighter weight, subtle tech, no pretension. Breaking the $10,000 wall today, cruisers often come with car-like price tags. Honda shattered that wall with a full-size bike under 10 grand. At $9,999, the Rebel 1000 sits well below comparable Harley and Indian models. And Honda didn't cut corners. It cut the fluff. Engine borrowed from the Africa Twin, proven, efficient, and plenty of real-world torque. Transmission, Honda's dual-clutch transmission, automatic shifting with a mechanical feel, ease without compromise. Design, no excess chrome, no heavy nostalgia. Just clean welds, fewer parts, efficient assembly. It wasn't magic. It was manufacturing discipline. Honda didn't sacrifice quality. It sacrificed unnecessary extras. Harley's fragile momentum. On paper, Harley fired back with the sub-$10,000 Nightster. But peel back the sticker and you see desperation more than direction. Honda's price comes from years of platform efficiency, global supply chains, and disciplined cost control. Harley's price drop? It's mostly a marketing experiment. Step into a Harley showroom, you'll see limited stock, inflexible financing, hidden fees. The cheap Harley often costs far more out the door. Honda's Rebel delivers value up front. Harley's Nightster feels like a patch. Indian's identity problem. When Polaris revived Indian, it looked ready to challenge Harley's crown. Early scouts were aggressive, affordable, and bold. But prices crept upward. Entry-level accessibility faded. Indian began pushing boutique finishes and lifestyle branding. The brand that once sold rebellion now sells refinement, and that leaves budget-minded riders stranded. Many are heading straight to Honda. Royal Enfield's honest punch. Royal Enfield never tried to out-Harley or outspec Honda. It stuck to one mission: simple, beautiful, cheap motorcycles that work. The Meteor 350 and Interceptor 650 dominate global markets not because they're fastest or flashiest, but because they're honest. Steel, rubber, simplicity. That philosophy resonates. In Asia, Latin America, and now in North American cities, riders pick Enfield for minimalism and character. Where Honda sells polish, Enfield sells texture. Two very different philosophies, but competing for the same new rider. Japan, Yamaha, and Kawasaki, wake up, Honda isn't Japan's only player. Yamaha and Kawasaki quietly sharpened their cruisers too. Yamaha Bolt, slimmed down, tightened, all torque and simplicity. Kawasaki Vulcan S, adjustable ergonomics, parallel twin, sub $10,000 pricing. Still one of the smartest beginner to intermediate cruisers out there. For years they were overlooked. Too soft, too subtle, but the market shifted. Now sanity is currency, and that makes them relevant again. DCT, Honda's secret weapon. Honda's dual-clutch transmission didn't arrive with fireworks. It slipped in quietly, first in touring bikes, then adventure machines, now the Rebel 1100. At first, it seemed like a convenience feature, but it's actually a Trojan horse. Think of the modern rider, raised on automatic cars, urban commutes, app-driven convenience. They don't want to stall learning clutch control at a red light. They want something that works. DCT lowers the barrier. It invites new riders in, and once they start with Honda, they tend to stay. This isn't about chasing adrenaline. It's about engineering inclusion. Honda's global muscle, Harley sells motorcycles. Indian sells motorcycles. Honda sells everything. Cars, generators, jet engines, outboard motors, that matters. Because Honda doesn't need the Rebel to succeed, it has an empire behind it. It can afford to sell a sub-$10,000 cruiser without sweating margins. This cross-sector strength makes Honda untouchable in ways Harley and Indian can't match. The supply chain advantage COVID wrecked the motorcycle industry. Empty showrooms, 6-month wait lists, Harley cut production, even Yamaha and Kawasaki struggled. Honda? It adapted. Multiple suppliers, multiple regions, backup plans everywhere. When a chip shortage hit Taiwan, Honda sourced elsewhere. When a factory slowed in Japan, Thailand picked up the slack. It wasn't panic, it was protocol. That agility kept Hondas on showroom floors while others stalled. Reliability in delivery builds trust, and in a short attention world, trust equals sales. Who Honda really wants? Harley builds for the seasoned rider, the chrome-proud veteran. Indian tried to appeal to rebels turned boutique buyers. Honda? It's after someone else entirely. The young commuter, the budget-minded rider, the urban minimalist, someone who compares monthly payments to a gym membership, not a truck loan, someone who wants easy parking and low maintenance, not a cultural badge. That's why the Rebel 1100 is balanced, clean, non-intimidating, with optional DCT. It's built for usability, not posturing. The Made in America question. Honda's sub-10K cruiser triggered more than industry chatter. It raised political questions. For decades, Made in America sold pride and jobs. But in today's global economy, it often means higher costs. Tariffs crushed Harley's supply chain. Honda's global web simply routed around them. The result? Riders now ask hard questions. Does patriotism mean debt? Does it mean fewer features? Or does it mean clinging to a myth while Honda delivers the math? Honda didn't just expose Harley's weakness, it exposed the systems. On the dealership floor. For decades, Harley and Indian showrooms were temples of chrome. Today, they're quieter. Meanwhile, Honda models move. Month after month, dealers in states like Ohio and Texas report 40% increases in Rebel sales. Some Harley models sit untouched for half a year. Older riders are even eyeing Honda's DCT to avoid clutch pain. Dealers follow sales. Some Harley exclusives are quietly applying for Honda certification. Some sell Harley and Honda side by side. The sacred is becoming practical. The tribal is becoming transactional. Who wins the next 10 years? This isn't just a reset. It's a redefinition. The motorcycle wars of tomorrow won't be won by nostalgia or noise. They'll be won by clarity. Harley may have the louder voice. Indian may have the sleeker lineup. But Honda has something more valuable: trust. Trust that the bike will work. Trust that the price makes sense. Trust that the company won't abandon you for the next fad. In a fractured economy, trust is currency, more valuable than chrome, more lasting than hype. Honda's rise doesn't mean Harley or Indian vanish. It means the terrain is shifting. The winners will be those with purpose, affordability, and inclusivity. And as the next generation buys its first bikes, they're not shopping for a lifestyle. They're shopping for an answer. Honda just gave them one. So here's the question. Are we witnessing the rebirth of relevance or the death of tradition? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Smash that like button if this gave you a new perspective. And don't forget to subscribe, because the next big move in motorcycling is closer than you think.